Glorious Revolution. Also called Revolution of 1688 or Bloodless Revolution, in English history. The events of 1688–89 that resulted in the deposition of James II and the accession of his daughter Mary II and her husband, William III, Prince of Orange. It took place from 1688 to 1689 in England. It involved the overthrow of the Catholic King James II, who was replaced by his Protestant daughter Mary and her Dutch husband, William of Orange. Motives for the revolution were complex and included both political and religious concerns. The event ultimately changed how England was governed, giving Parliament more power over the monarchy and planting seeds for the beginnings of a political democracy. King James II took the throne in England in 1685, during a time when relations between Catholics and Protestants were tense. There was also considerable friction between the monarchy and the British Parliament. James, who was Catholic, supported the freedom of worship for Catholics and appointed Catholic officers to the army. He also had close ties with France, a relationship that concerned many of the English people. In 1687, King James II issued a declaration of indulgence, which suspended penal laws against Catholics and granted acceptance of some Protestant dissenters. Later that year, the king formally dissolved his parliament and attempted to create a new parliament that would support him unconditionally. James's daughter Mary, a Protestant, was the rightful heir to the throne until 1688 when James had a son, James Francis Edward Stuart, whom he announced would be raised Catholic. The birth of James's son changed the line of succession, and many feared a Catholic dynasty in England was imminent. The Whigs, the main group that opposed Catholic succession, were especially outraged. The king's elevation of Catholicism, his close relationship with France, his conflict with Parliament and uncertainty over who would succeed James on the English throne led to whispers of a revolt, and ultimately the fall of James II. In 1688, 7 of King James's peers wrote to the Dutch leader, William of Orange, pledging their allegiance to the prince if he invaded England. William was already in the process of taking military action against England, and the letter served as an additional propaganda motive. King James, however, had prepared for military attacks and left London to bring his forces to meet the invading army. Several of James's own men, including his family members, deserted him and defected to William's side. In addition to this setback, James's health was deteriorating. James decided to retreat back to London on November 23. He soon announced that he was willing to agree to a free parliament but was making plans to flee the country due to concerns for his own safety. In December, King James made an attempt to escape but was captured. Later that month, he made another attempt and successfully fled the country. Legacy of the Glorious Revolution. Many historians believe the Glorious Revolution was one of the most important events leading to Britain's transformation from an absolute monarchy to a constitutional monarchy. After this event, the monarchy in England would never hold absolute power again. With the Bill of Rights, the regent's power was defined, written down, and limited for the first time. Parliament's function and influence changed dramatically in the years following the Revolution. The event also had an impact on the colonies in North America. The colonists were temporarily freed of strict, anti-Puritan laws after King James was overthrown. When news of the Revolution reached the Americans, several uprisings followed, including the Boston Revolt, Leslie's Rebellion and the Protestant Revolution in Maryland. Since the Glorious Revolution, Parliament's power in Britain has continued to increase, while the monarchy's influence has waned. There's no doubt this important event helped set the stage for the United Kingdom's present-day political system and government. Bill of Rights. In January 1689, the now famous Convention Parliament met. After significant pressure from William, Parliament agreed to a joint monarchy, with William as king and James's daughter, Mary, as queen. The two new rulers accepted more restrictions from Parliament than any previous monarchs, causing an unprecedented shift in the distribution of power throughout the realm. The King and Queen both signed the Declaration of Rights, which became known as the Bill of Rights. This document acknowledged several constitutional principles, including the right for regular parliaments, free elections and freedom of speech in Parliament. Additionally, it forbade the monarchy from being Catholic. Many historians believe the Bill of Rights was the first step toward a constitutional monarchy. When William was asked to carry on the government and summon a parliament. When this convention parliament met, January 22, 1689, it agreed, after some debate, to treat James's flight as an abdication and to offer the crown, with an accompanying Declaration of Rights, to William and Mary jointly. Both gift and conditions were accepted. Thereupon, the convention turned itself into a proper parliament and large parts of the declaration into a Bill of Rights. This bill gave the succession to Mary's sister, Anne, in default of issue from Mary, barred Roman Catholics from the throne, abolished the Crown's power to suspend laws, condemned the power of dispensing with laws as it hath been exercised and used of late, and declared a standing army illegal in time of peace. The settlement marked a considerable triumph for Whig views. If no Roman Catholic could be king, then no kingship could be unconditional. The adoption of the exclusionist solution lent support to John Locke's contention that government was in the nature of a social contract between the king and his people represented in Parliament. The Revolution permanently established Parliament as the ruling power of England.